The beauty of Vedic knowledge system is that it not only has huge amounts of valuable knowledge, but also a very sophisticated system is built to preserve the knowledge. The 6 Vedangas are the extremely scientific, sophisticated system that was built to preserve the Vedic knowledge. This is the uniqueness of the Vedic knowledge. No other civilization in the world has done such a thing. Namo Namaha. My name is Shubha. I am a native Sanskrit speaker and a Sanskrit teacher, and this channel Tattvam is all about Sanskrit related content. So if you are interested in Sanskrit related content, then please do subscribe to Tattvam and click the bell icon so that you will be notified when I add new videos. I am starting this new series on Vedas, Vedangas. I will be giving as much information as possible about them through these videos. These form the root of our culture, the root which influences our way of living and our approach towards life, our sciences, and so much more which is in the Vedas. Even if we are not able to study them in detail, let us try to at least know about them and have an idea about what is in them. Moreover, there is a huge need for professionals across various fields to explore our shastras and apply them in this contemporary world for the benefit of mankind. So I hope these videos will inspire some of you to start thinking on those lines. With this intention in mind, I will share as much as I can through these videos. I will first start with the chaturdasha vidyasthaanas. What are these chaturdasha vidyasthaanas? Chaturdasha means 14 in Sanskritam, and vidyasthaanas refers to the branches of knowledge. Traditionally, the whole of our Indic knowledge was classified into these chaturdasha vidyasthaanas. This will give us an overview of the huge treasure of knowledge that India possesses, and the key to open this treasure box is, of course, Sanskritam. Therefore, learning Sanskrit is important, and if possible, try and go beyond just Sanskritam as a language and use it as a means to explore some of our shastras. We find the reference to the 14 Vidyasthaanas in Mahabharatam, Yajnavalkya Smriti, and other Puranas also. I will be quoting the references later in this video. Also, at the end of this video, there is a beautiful verse from one of the Kavyas that suits this context and at the same time is inspiring and interesting as well. So stay tuned. What are the 14 Vidyasthaanas? They are the 4 Vedas: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. I will be discussing about each of them in the upcoming videos. The 14 Vidyasthaanas includes the 6 Vedangas. These are auxiliary subjects which aid in the proper understanding and preservation of the Vedas. The beauty of Vedic knowledge system is that it not only has huge amounts of valuable knowledge, but also a very sophisticated system is built to preserve the knowledge. The 6 Vedangas are the extremely scientific, sophisticated system that was built to preserve the Vedic knowledge. This is the uniqueness of the Vedic knowledge. No other civilization in the world has done such a thing, and the system is so scientific that we can apply it to various other fields in this contemporary world. Now I will briefly tell about these Vedangas. In future videos I will explain them in detail. The 6 Vedangas are Shiksha, the science of phonetics. Shiksha is mentioned first because pronunciation is very important in Sanskritam and Shiksha Shastra deals with it. Originally, this was used for the pronunciation, for the protection of Vedic pronunciation. But in the contemporary world, we can use this knowledge for the study of phonetics and phonology and much more. I made a series of videos on mastering the Sanskrit sounds. The series is named Varnamala series. I was referring to the Paniniya Shiksha while making those videos. Paniniya Shiksha is a part of this Shiksha Shastra. Niruktam deals with etymology. It helps you understand the meaning through every letter. In the contemporary world, if you are in the field of linguistics, then you can explore this to understand theories of origin of speech, multiple interpretations of meanings of words, etc. Chandaha means prosody or the poetic meter. It plays a major role in the preservation of Vedas as it is a self-correcting mechanism. There is a lot of mathematics, binary number calculation, etc. in this Chandas Shastra, which has a lot of application even in this era. Vyakaranam is about grammar and linguistic analysis. There is a huge demand in the world for Panini's Ashtadhyayi because it has a great application in the field of natural language processing. Natural language processing is a field which is concerned with interactions between computers and human language. Kalpasutram gives detailed ritualistic procedures to be followed along with the mantras. This also contains lot of mathematics, especially geometry. Jyotisham is astronomy. It was originally used for fixing the right time to perform Vedic rituals. That was the original context. We can use this knowledge in the modern world also. If you are in the field of astronomy, then you can try getting into this Shastra. So out of the 14 Vidyasthanas, we have seen the 10 of them, which are the 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas. Apart from these, there are 4 Upangas, which are Mimamsa, the science and art of interpretation. Original context was to interpret the Vedas correctly, but this science of interpretation can be applied to many other areas as well. Nyaya means epistemology and ontology. Basically, it gives logical systems to understand the Vedas. Logic is necessary for getting clarity in thought and also clarity of expression. So this is an all-time extremely useful field. Dharma Shastras give the personal and societal code of conduct. Puranas, it includes both Itihasa and the Puranas. These are historical events and stories that are written in such a way so that we can understand the practical application of the teachings of Vedas and the Dharma Shastras in real life. So, the 14 Vidyasthanas are these: the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharva, the 6 Vedangas, Shiksha, Niruktam, Chandaha, Vyakaranam, Kalpa and Jyotisham, and the 4 Upangas, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Purana and Dharma Shastram. As mentioned before, the chaturdasha vidyasthaanas are the traditional way of classifying our entire knowledge system, which is very huge actually. Now I will quote some references about the chaturdasha vidyasthaanas from our ancient scriptures. Angani Vedas chatvaro Mimamsa Nyaya Vistaraha Puranam Dharma Shastram cha Vidya Hetash Chaturdasha. This shloka is from the Manusmriti. Let us look into the meaning. It says Vedaha Chatvaraha, the 4 Vedas. Angani refers to the Vedangas, which are 6 in number. Shiksha, Niruktam, Chandaha, Vyakaranam, Kalpa and Jyotisham that I mentioned before. And it mentions the 4 Upangas, which are Nyaya Vistaraha refers to the Nyaya, Mimamsa, Purana and Dharma Shastra. The shloka further says Vidya hi etah chaturdasha. These are the 14 knowledge systems. Further, in Yajnavalkya Smriti, Rishi Yajnavalkya says that these are not just the 14 Vidyasthanas but also the 14 Dharmasthanas. Yajnavalkya Smriti says Purana Tarka Mimamsa Dharma Shastranga Mishritaha Vedyasthanani Vidyanam Dharmasya cha Chaturdasha. So, all those streams of knowledge that I mentioned before are mentioned in this verse. And in the last line, if you see, Vidyanam Sthanani Dharmasya cha Sthanani. They are Vidyasthanas and also dharmas. Though in many places there is a mention of the chaturdasha vidyasthanas, that is 14 vidyasthanas, there are 4 more vidyasthanas added to these to make it ashtaadasha vidyasthanas, that is 18 knowledge systems in some places. I will be giving references later in this video. Now let us look at the 4 additional vidyasthanas which are called the 4 Upavedas. Ayurveda, the science of life. It is the Upaveda of Rigveda. Dhanurveda is about warfare, weaponry, etc. There is a lot of metallurgy science also in this. It is the Upaveda of Yajurveda. The Gandharva Veda, it is the traditional or Vedic music and is the Upaveda of Samaveda. Arthashastra deals with economics, management and public administration and is considered as Upaveda of Atharva Veda. These Upavedas are specific applications of Vedic teachings in practicality. Now coming to the reference, we find the mention of the 18, that is ashtaadasha vidyasthanas in Vishnu Puranam. Angani Vedas chatvaro Mimamsa Nyaya Vistaraha Puranam Dharma Shastram cha Vidyahyetash chaturdasha. Ayurvedo Dhanurvedo Gandharvaschaiva te trayaha Arthashastram chaturthantu Vidyahyashtadashaiva taha. Since I have already explained the first verse before in this video, I will just explain the second one. The first verse appears in Manusmriti and also in the Vishnu Puranam. So the second verse says, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, these 3 and Arthashastra being the 4th are the Ashtadasha Vidyas. In the previous verse, it mentions the 14 Vidyasthanas plus the 4 in the second verse makes it 18. Apart from the Ashtadasha Vidyasthanas, we have Chatushashti Kalas, that is 64 art forms. So to give an overview of the Indic knowledge systems, we have Ashtadasha Vidyasthanas plus the Chatushashti Kalas. You might have heard that Bhagavan Krishna had mastered all the 64 Kalas. We find references to the Vidyasthanas and the Kalas in many texts. Now coming to the interesting and inspiring verse that I said I will share with you all. In Naishadha Charitam, written by the great poet Sri Harsha, Naishadha Charitam is about the story of King Nala. While describing the King Nala and saying how well educated King Nala was, the poet says like this. Adhiti bodha acharana pracharanaihi dashaha chatasraf pranayan chaturdashatvam kritavan kutasvayam na vedmi vidyasu chaturdasha swayam. This is a wonderful shloka that has impacted me very deeply, and it's a pleasure to share this with all my viewers in this video. I will rearrange the words in the prose order so that it will be easy to understand the meaning. Ayam nalaha chaturdashasu vidyasu adhiti bodha acharana pracharanaihi upadibhihi dashaha chatasraha pranayan swayam chaturdashatvam kutaha kritavan iti aham na vedmi. This Nala, what he did with the 14 Vidyas is, he applied the chatasraha dashaha, the 4 phases to the 14 Vidyas. What are the 4 phases or the 4 attributes? Adhiti, meaning studying, just studying. Bodha, meaning understanding what is read. Acharanam means practicing what was learned, and pracharanam means teaching others what you learned and practiced. These are the 4 attributes or the 4 phases, and these can actually be applied to any knowledge in this world, isn't it? And further the poet says, Swayam chaturdashatvam kutaha kritavan nalaha, meaning how did Nala do this chaturdashatvam? Here is a pun, ashlesha as it is called in Sanskrit. The poet has played with this word chaturdashatvam, That's the beauty of Sanskrit words. They tickle your intellect and it's a pleasure to solve these puzzles. So there are the 14 Vidyas and each Vidya has 4 phases, 4 states. So total it has to be 56. But Nala Maharaja has kept it as 14. Chaturdashasya bhavaha is chaturdashatvam. In Sanskrit, chaturdasha means 14. But this creates more confusion and is a bit contradicting. How can 56 be equal to 14? It's a virodha, it's a contradiction. But we can interpret this word chaturdashatvam in another way, which is chatasraha dashaha, chaturdashaha, chaturdashanam bhavaha, chaturdashatvam. So instead of directly taking chaturdasha as 14, we have to take it as 4 phases, chaturdashaha. If we take it that way, the puzzle is solved beautifully. It gives a beautiful meaning now. It says, Nala applies the 4 attributes to the 4 attributes of knowledge, the 4 stages of knowledge to the 14 Vidyas. And I don't know how he is doing it. Na vedmi. Why is the poet saying, I don't know how he is doing it? Because if you see, normally if a person is into teaching, he or she will just focus on teaching or focus on preaching. Or if a person is focusing on studying deeply, he'll be so busy with studies that he won't teach others what he has learned. It's very rare to find people who study, who internalize what they study, then practice what they learned and teach others also what they learned and practiced. So the poet is expressing his astonishment at Nala Maharaja, who is doing all the 4. Isn't this beautiful? This has really inspired me and I hope it has inspired all of you also. I hope this video was interesting and informative. If it was, then please do let me know in the comments. Please do like this video and share this with interested people. That will definitely motivate me to make more videos on this topic. Also, please do subscribe to Tattvam and click the bell icon. Agrima video madhye punarmilami. Namo Namaha.